And we're back to another episode of the They Fly Now podcast. And this week, you guys are going to be delighted by just me and Hereth's voice because we have no guests this week in preparation for Star Wars Celebration this week. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Celebration. We're going to be talking about a little bit about the new Vanity Fair article that just came out. Talking about Kenobi, obviously, we got that coming up. And yeah, it's going to be more of a chill episode. Probably a little bit of a more short episode, but without further ado, let's get in.
They fly now! They fly now!
And we're back, and it's just us. But that's an okay thing. You know, sometimes you just need weeks where it's just us two.
Yeah.
You know?
Because we don't have enough of that.
Yeah, this is probably, the fourth episode?
The first one, and then we had one lastly, and then we had an episode in the middle where it was just us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but that's okay. That's okay. Because there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, and as you see in the title of the episode, Calm Before the Storm, because there's going to be a lot. If you're not going to Celebration, you're going to be seeing, like, so much stuff. Like, I can't imagine the content, the videos, the trivia,
dude,
whatever.
you don't know how much I've been working on the trivia tournament, dude. Dude, we're finally at the end of that.
You probably put in 50 hours?
Oh, I wouldn't say
that?
50. I'd say probably like 30, but it's still a lot of hours.
Yeah, so if you haven't, go check out Pods on Podcast Trivia Tournament because Hereth has been literally slaving away. We'll be in VC, and it's literally every day in VC that he is working on this stuff and editing and making sure it looks amazing, and it does. Each episode.
It's not even just editing; it's also ever since I got out of the trivia tournament, I've been writing questions as well. So it's like,
yeah.
And now I actually finally for the final match, I won't reveal who's in it, even though it's been stated. I will be there in person filming it. It's going to be an in-person trivia match, so that will release the following week after Celebration. But yeah, it's going to be probably the biggest work production I've ever done, because it's like, not only are we filming in person, I'm writing these questions for it. It's going to be probably the biggest technical thing I've ever done too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like, while you're there recording everything, making sure the audio is all good. Like, yeah. It's going to be it's a big project, but hey, I give you a lot of credit because it's
insane.
That's a grind. Like, when I say it's literally every day, he's working on that for 5 hours a day.
Oh, it's insane.
Just making sure that everything is perfect. So that's definitely something to look forward to. And it's really surreal to me. And I guess we can kind of just start off by talking about Celebration, because I mean that's the really big thing.
Crazy.
But like, it's insane that we, like, a year ago, and I credit this to Darth Choco, because if it weren't for Choco, none of this would even happen. This show wouldn't be a thing. The community wouldn't be a thing. The friendships we've built. I mean, you guys are like my family. You know, you're like my online family, and now it's like, wow, like.
I remember in October when we were all like, oh, what if we do this?
It's like, what if?
Like,
oh man, that would be crazy.
And then it just, like, if it would ever happen, and then now it's actually happening. It's a real thing.
Well, it's like, what? We went from, like, this stupid app right here.
The clock app.
Right here. This stupid app. Now, somehow, we have built connections and are flying across the country. Some people flying halfway across the world. Shout out to Grandmaster Bale. To meet each other and to geek out over Star Wars for a week. Like this, I would never think that this would make it this far. I mean, like, I know personally, like, joining, like, the community kind of, it's like, I always hoped, maybe I'll get someone to talk to Star Wars about. And I think that's kind of what it start off with, like, oh, cool, like, I can talk Star Wars to someone, because I'd never really had that. And now it's like, now we're not. Now we're talking about Star Wars, and now it's just everyone's talking like every day, and now it's like we're literally all going on a vacation together.
Yeah,
to
and we're a tight knit
celebration.
group. Like,
Yes, we're like best friends. It's amazing.
it's like insane because, like, again, like, I remember I created the celebration server just for the 12 people I thought we're going with, and like just that close knit group, and then it just
Now it's like
slowly,
40.
It's like 60. It's slowly. Yeah. Like, it grew and it blew up. And
it's insane.
And like
60 people all doing the same thing. And there are more. I mean, there's a lot more that are in the TikTok community that probably aren't in that server. But like that's 60 people that are all going because of, if we're being honest, one person.
Yeah.
And I credit Choco a lot to that. Like
Choco and Element built this community.
Yes. Choco and Element literally built this community, and now it's like it blows my mind. It literally just blows my mind. Like, it's just more than Star Wars. Like, yes, we're going to Star Wars Celebration, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's like these people help me get through hard times in my life. Like these people are always there, like always just like a call or like, hey, I want to join VC if you're ever feeling down or whatever. Like, oh, it's just so crazy. And now, like, I'm looking at a bookshelf. I have like 30 books.
That's not even my.
I wasn't a reader.
That's not even my entire collection. There's like still 20 books I have downstairs.
Yeah, like, I'm not a reader. I was never a reader, and now I've read 30 books in a year because of
one man.
Because of this. Because of one man. Like, oh, it's literally it is so crazy. And I remember that night, like, I don't want to talk about books too much because it's not really what we're talking about, but like, I remember the one night we were in VC and we were like, you know what, let's buy Lost Stars.
Yeah.
Do you remember that night? It was the same night we were
night.
conceiving the podcast. About a year ago, probably. Conceiving the okay. I made this mistake before.
I was like, wait. That flickered for a second. I was like, wait, not again.
I've gone down this dark path before. The night that we made the podcast.
Yes.
Before we made the podcast, we were like, you know what? Let's go all in. So then we're like, let's buy Lost Stars. We buy Lost Stars. And then it's just like...
It started from there.
It started from there. And
I already read Light of the Jedi and Ahsoka by that point, but I was like, I really want to read Lost Stars because it's been recommended to me so many times by so many different people. Let's go in on it. And then we both went on it and we both fell in love with the book.
And then it was just like, we were balls deep.
Yeah.
It was like,
we went from book
we
to
read
book.
that book to book to podcast to reading trilogies of books for the podcast to reading Thrawn, the Thrawn Ascendancy, Fallen Star, like grinding out these books in a day for the podcast.
Reading an entire trilogy in 7 days to get an episode done for the podcast.
Reading the longest canon book in 1 day.
Like, we had some insane feats over this like year of like us doing the podcast, because yes. Coming on July, that will be officially 1 year of the show.
1 year, yeah, that's great. And I think that's why this book means so much to me and why it's my favorite book, not just because of the story, because I do think the story is still my favorite of any of the books I've read, but it's just like what the book means. And like the book started so much and it got the ball rolling and really got me, okay, I'm gonna go all in on this. And now that, like, I want to talk to Claudia about this whenever I meet her, because I was supposed to say, like, this book, like, it kind of changed my life a little bit.
Yeah, because
this book was the reason that I went all in on Star Wars, and now why we're flying across the country to meet everyone. A large majority with this book, because I don't think if I didn't read this, I don't think I would have read a lot of the stuff, which then I don't think I would have been invested to the community.
For me, that book is Light of the Jedi. That was the first ever book that dragged me into Star Wars reading. I kept getting, again, just like Lost Stars, it was like, hey, you should read this book. Hey, you should read this book. Element literally pulled me into a VC. He was like, you need to read this book. And I'm like, why? And he's like, it's really damn good. And I'm like, okay. He's like, read the first 8 chapters, come back to me tomorrow. I tell you by tomorrow, you will be hooked on this book. Came back, hooked on this book, and now I've been on that climb ever since. Like, trying to get that back to that high, and I've definitely got the highs, like really high on that levels, but others have not.
Yeah, like there's definitely been some duds. Maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say anything I've read is a dud.
No, I would say they're all really made books. It's just some are better than
Yeah.
others.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Mm-mm. But man, books, like the books kind of changed everything because I don't think it would be the same without a lot of the books.
Like, if you would have came out to me like 2, 3, 4 years ago and said, "One of your favorite Star Wars mediums is going to be books," I would have looked at you and been like, "You're crazy."
Probably my favorite. Like, there's nothing like picking up a new Star Wars book.
I would say
It's a good feeling.
I would say my favorite mediums by far are TV shows than books.
Yeah, I mean, movies are special in their own way, but there's something about the books that has a special place in my heart. You know,
Yeah,
it's
nothing like it.
no. Same thing with, I mean, Rebels is always going to have that, which I am, to kind of get back, to kind of round back to Celebration. I'm meeting Taylor Gray. My life is going to be complete. It's going to be complete because I'm getting this signed. And I'm going to freak out. I'm going to be wearing my Ezra Bridges shirt and I'm going to meet freaking Taylor Gray.
Like, again, that one you were waiting forever on because that got announced like really late into the game.
Well, actually, last time on the podcast, I said I was like hoping, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's not going to happen." I think that last episode of the podcast, I was like, "Oh, I'm still going to hold out for Taylor Gray, even though he hasn't been assigned." And then, like the next day,
that was the Rogue One solo episode, if I remember correctly.
Was it? Or was it? Because I know there's a few. There was an episode where I was like, I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna hold out because I think he's gonna show up. And then, like the next day, it was like, oh, Taylor Gray gets announced. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, he was in the last slate of guests that it actually happened, and it's really not. He's not even at I mean, he's at Celebration,
but it's like a special after night event at like a hotel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. I wonder if we could like see him walking around.
That would be crazy.
Maybe. Like, are all those people just gonna be walking around Celebration? Like, snap a selfie?
Probably not. Honestly, I think they're gonna be like hidden off somewhere, and they're just gonna like move in out.
Yeah, probably. Because I'm sure all of the really famous people are
like
going to be.
Ewan McGregor, like.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, Ewan McGregor. I mean, the people at the after.
At the after event, yeah. I assume they'll like because there are a lot of them are like the lesser known characters. I feel like a lot of them could get away with it.
Like Taylor Gray could probably walk around.
100%. If he wears like
except unless you saw Carter, then I'd be like.
If he's wearing like a cap and like a hoodie and then like a mask, you wouldn't recognize him.
Yes, I would.
You'd be like, "That's Ezra Bridger."
I'd be like, I'd be like Rook, like sniffing out the Lasat. Taylor Gray. You go. Oh crap! There he is. Like, hey, can I have a picture with you? He's like, what? How did you know that was me? I did my research, young fella. I got an instinct. I have an instinct for things like this. Trying to think, what else do you want to cover in Celebration? I don't want to reveal too much. Me and Hereth are meeting someone together. Do we want to say who we're meeting?
Yeah, we're meeting Tamora Morrison.
Yeah, so that's gonna be cool. We're getting a picture. That's gonna be really exciting. Like, I'm actually very excited for that.
We can also reveal that we both got into because we entered the group together.
Batch.
Yeah, there's a large group of us going to the Bad Batch panel.
Yeah, and that's gonna be really exciting because I think Bad Batch is slept on, and I actually am very excited for Bad Batch season 2, and it's right around the corner. It is. Yeah. I mean, we have Kenobi and or Bad Batch back to back to back. So
honestly, I'll be 100% honest. I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get either the Mando Plus or the Lucasfilm Studio Showcase, but like,
yeah.
But when I started thinking about it more, I was like, no, I'm really happy that it was Bad Batch.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we didn't get those, but at least we got something, and to get into one of the big panels is really cool because there's a lot of people who didn't get anything.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a ton of people who didn't get anything.
Oh, I know a lot of people that only got the
one.
Lucasfilm ILM Magic panel, which I didn't sign up for that because I intentionally was like, I don't want to get this one, so I didn't sign up for it.
I will say I did really want the live action panel on Thursday because it's a panel that's going over all the upcoming live action projects, just because I think they're gonna announce Ahsoka casting, and I'm real like, if Ezra got casted out, that would like, I would die. But like, we could still watch them though. So we could, like, during the panel, we could. What are they gonna have? Probably maybe smaller rooms for people to go in and watch them, or a big screen.
What ended up happening was, so they have 3 rooms. They have the Celebration stage, the Galaxy stage, and the Twin Stone stage. For the Bad Batch panel, we got into one of the overflow rooms, so we'll be in a giant room with a projector and a bunch of speakers.
Oh, we're not actually going to be watching.
No, we're not going to be in the main room. We're going to be in one of the streaming rooms. But for other panels that you didn't get into any of the overflow rooms or the main room, there will be TVs around Celebration on the convention floor, which I've heard from people that have gone to Celebration. Sometimes it's better to be on the convention floor watching the panel with like hundreds of people. Like, because people flip out more. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And I think the panels I'm most excited for was obviously the Thursday one. I'm excited for all the shows, right? But the High Republic panel and the Disney Publishing panel, like, those are what I'm really excited for, because I think they're gonna announce a bunch of books.
They already said that they're gonna announce a bunch of books, and Kevin Scott has been teasing like crazy, and a lot of teasing hints. People are thinking it's gonna be a Finn book, because the wording he keeps using a really big deal. So everyone's like, Finn is the only character in Star Wars to say really big deal. So everyone's thinking Kevin Scott wants to write a Finn novel post sequel trilogy.
That would be huge. That would actually be huge. That would be giant. Kevin Scott writing a Finn book? Wow.
Because he said in a Twitter post like months ago that he said one of the characters he absolutely wants to write is Finn. He's a great writer. I'm hoping to get a book signed by this weekend. Yeah, like the fact that like Kevin Scott is going to be at Celebration, because he's from the UK. He's flying all the way from England to America. Yeah. That man, insane. I need him. What are you bringing Rising Storm to get signed? 100%, 110%.
Because I'm bringing Lost Stars, Rising Storm, Fallen Star.
I'm bringing Rising Storm, Light of the Jedi, and then I may buy Claudia Gray's Master and Apprentice at her booth.
Oh, I might have to get Master and Apprentice. So I don't know what the deal with that is. If you can just walk up and get it signed, or if it's
you can walk up and get it signed, but they'll have pre-signed books for $30.
Oh no, I'll just bring my own. Yeah, I think maybe I'll switch out Fallen Star for Master and Apprentice. I don't know. But yeah, I think it would be cool. I mean, my Ezra dream would be to have them announce a Thrawn Ezra book.
I feel like it won't happen just for
I don't think it's going to happen either.
That Zahn's not there. So that I think.
Yeah, but what bigger stage would there be? You know what I mean? Because
if Zahn was there, I would be 100% like, yes, it's gonna happen. But since Zahn is not there, I feel like Zahn would want to reveal himself.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure we'll get High Republic covers. Excuse me. Titles.
100%. There's gonna be the High Republic Phase 2 panel where they're gonna reveal everything. So we're gonna know.
We are going to that. We are going to. Honestly, we should just go to all the panels we can, because I think walking around the convention is going to be fun, but going to the panels is going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy, and like the one panel that I am kind of dreading though is because they didn't put it on the virtual panel selection, which I thought was really idiotic. Was the Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary, which
I don't like that. That's standing in line,
because like the 2019 celebration, one of the big panels was the 20th anniversary for the Phantom Menace. So you know it's going to be a big panel because they always go all out for these 20th anniversary events. So I know it's going to be big. I know Matthew Wood's going to be there probably because he's going to be there for the Star Wars Hilton on Night, because he's the sound designer for the prequels. You got Tamora going to be there. You got Ewan. Possibly Hayden could stop by because he's going to be in LA filming Ahsoka, so I would not be surprised if he does show up for that, because I think it would make logical sense that he would show up for that. Because it's like the thing that like he started his entire Star Wars career on was Attack of the Clones. So of course he has to be there along with Ewan. So I feel like it's going to be a big scale panel. I just don't know why they did not put it on like the virtual selection, because you think they would, but they didn't. They put the ILM visual effects showcase, which is the 11 a.m. panel that day.
Yeah.
Which I find it just to be odd, because I was really excited to go to that, but I also was kind of like, I kind of would rather go to the Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary, because I feel like I want to hear like behind the scenes facts and like them talking about like their experiences on it, because I feel like as much as it is my least favorite Star Wars movie, I think that panel is going to be interesting.
It's still gonna be really, really cool. And like looking, so I'm on Lucasfilm's or not Celebration's website, and there's like a lot of panels that aren't big. Like there's panels like the whole time.
Oh yeah,
The entire time. There's literally like there's probably 100 panels.
Oh, at least. And some people
more than that.
I know some people like Chaco is going to be on the podcast stage. He didn't get high ground, but he's going to be on another podcast for Talking Brotherhood. Okay. I know Pink Milk got on the podcast stage, so I know they're going to be.
Pink Milk got on.
So I know a couple people that were able to get into the podcast room. So I definitely want to go support them, because they've been an awesome part of the community. So I definitely want to go out and support them, because I feel like they definitely deserve their support and everything. Like, so I definitely want to go like some of the smaller panels, like the podcast staging, definitely all the book panels. So like Del Rey.
Definitely all the book. I'm going to all the book panels. It's not even a question.
I want to go to the Marvel Comics panel. Like I'm not even. Like,
yes.
Comics aren't even I think honestly, comics are probably my least favorite medium, but I still want to go support that, because I feel like. Because there's so many comic runs, and I'm like, oh, I want to go read that. Oh, I want to go read that. But I just never have the time to do it. So I definitely want to go see what they're going to announce. And I'm most curious what they're going to do with Kira's character, because, like, does this seem like it's the final run for Kira's, like, arc in, like, Crimson Reign? But, like, I am definitely seeing what they're going to, like, what they have in store for everything else.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not, again, just like you, I'm not too well versed in all of the comics, but still going to there and like seeing what's going to be announced, and like especially with Kira, like Kira's I think the focal point of Star Wars comics right now, so to see where her character goes would be very interesting.
As per usual, it's Vader, and I would say, because it's always like how the comics are usually structured. You have the main Vader run, you have the main Star Wars run, and then you have a third run, and then they usually just kind of go off those 3 runs, and then so like I would say Vader, Star Wars 2020, Kira, and the War of the Bounty Hunters / Crimson Reign, and then I would say High Republic would be the 4th big one. I feel like those 4 are the major ones, and then IDW's High Republic Adventures, and now we're getting Dark Horse, which I also want to talk about this. Speaking of Claudia Gray, Claudia Gray is getting her own comic series
a comic
for the High Republic, so we're gonna get a week-to-week series written by Claudia Gray.
That's gonna be crazy, because I mean she's the GOAT.
Like she's one of the greatest Star Wars writers of all time.
She's probably number 1.
I would say her, and I feel like it's, in my opinion, it's her and Zahn. And
because Zahn, but like she's more well versed. I would say maybe because she kind of writes like a little bit of everything, as Zahn is. I mean, Thrawn.
Yeah.
It's not hit on Zahn, because Zahn's amazing, but I think I may like her. But Zahn's more of a mastermind when writing. She's more of a amazing story. I think they're very, very different styles of writing.
Yeah, Claudia's writing style, I would say, she's very focused on character development and like character arcs, while Zahn is very focused on building a world and being a mastermind.
And details, and like his space battles are
like crazy. Incomprehensible.
Yeah, literally incomprehensible. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, they're crazy. So I mean, I would love to see more. Well, I would love to see more of their projects get announced, just because of how amazing they are.
And then I feel like
there's an Ian McDermott panel.
Yeah, he does every celebration. He does the I Am the Emperor. I mean, I don't know if he's doing it this year, but there's also every celebration Anthony Daniels does the I Am C-3PO panel.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if it's on the schedule this year.
Oh, Star Wars Explained.
Yeah, Star Wars Explained got a podcast panel as well. I think it's right before Chaco's. Like, they go back to back.
Star Wars Mindful Matters with Ashley Eckstein, Crafting a Droid. Collectibles update. That's pretty cool.
I would say, do you want to move into the big panels, or like any discussions
Sure,
of that?
yeah.
So, obviously, starting with Thursday, we have probably the biggest panel of the entire weekend, which honestly it's shocking they put it on the Thursday. But we have Lucasfilm's live action studio showcase, which is going to be interesting because they came out with the Variety Fair article like 10 days ago where they revealed almost everything that's happening with the shows. So it's like, why did they reveal all this information 10 days before we have a major panel? What are they showing at this panel? And also, they say live action studio showcase. They don't say Star Wars Disney Plus showcase. It's live action. So are we going to get movie news? Are we going to get stuff about Rogue Squadron? Because they did say that the next movie up is not going to be Rogue Squadron. It's going to be the Taika Waititi movie. Got pushed to 2023.
Yeah, I wonder what that is.
Because like it's been in production since 2019.
It's been in production. Yeah. Like, we've heard rumors about that, and the Rian Johnson trilogy, too, we've heard a lot of rumors about. I mean, Taika, what would you want the movie to be?
Knowing Taika's writing style, I would want it to be, this might sound weird, but I would want a Star Wars heist film featuring Hondo Ohnaka. Like, that is very, very Taika.
That would fit. That would fit a lot.
And you have like a series of bounty hunters trying to pull off this like insane heist of them like trying to get something like from the Empire, or it could be like depending where they said it, it could be like very fun. Yeah, that could be really fun. But I kind of want him to just work, like him to have his own. Maybe High Republic wouldn't work for him. I think you're right. Maybe like a heist or, I don't know. Because he did say, well, in like article months ago that like he said he was writing the script and the script was very him. So like I'm kind of expecting it to be in tone with like Jojo Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok, that kind of like comedic style. Because like I'm going into the movie like expecting it's going to be a comedy in the Star Wars
to an extent. Yes. Yeah, Free Guy. Have you seen Free Guy?
Yeah, I've seen Free Guy.
So good. I love the movie.
But yeah. Going back into the panels or the Thursday panel, I'm honestly kind of expecting from the show showcases. I feel like starting with Kenobi, this is just more of a me thing than actually the panel. I hope they don't show anything. I just hope like the panel ends with and Kenobi's coming out later tonight. Like that's all I want from Kenobi. Yeah, we don't need a Kenobi. Like, it's coming out, like, this week. Like, we don't need, like, a big spotlight on it being like, oh, this is what's going to happen to Obi-Wan. Like, we have because, like, if you're going to Star Wars Celebration, you obviously know Kenobi's coming out. Like, I don't think they necessarily need a Kenobi. I mean, they do because they kind of have to have one. But, like, everyone knows Kenobi's coming out. Everyone's seen the trailer. If you're there and you haven't heard about Kenobi, you probably live in one of the weirdest lives I've ever heard if you do that. So like, that's possible. Like this, like Obi-Wan as a character has been in rumor to have a movie or show since 2012. Ever since Disney bought Lucasfilm, there's been fans being like, we want Obi-Wan, like, and this has been in production since 2016 was when Ian McGregor, like, he confirmed it in 2019, but he said, this has been in production since 2016. And originally it was supposed to be the Obi-Wan anthology movie. Then it got shifted into a show after Solo bombed at the box office, and then it because it was originally supposed to be a Mandalorian movie, a Book of Boba Fett movie, and then a Kenobi movie. And then they all became shows with Disney Plus launching. So going back to, like I was saying with Obi-Wan, like, again, everyone been wanting this. We know about the show. We have a really good idea what the plot is going to be. We do not need a final trailer. We don't need anything like of crazy of that sort. I honestly, like I said, just Kenobi's coming out later today. On to Andor, because like it's really, if you really think about it, of all the things, Andor needs the most amount of attention because it does, and I think it's starting to get it to an extent. Like I think people are starting to realize this has 3 seasons. This is gonna be good. Like, it's gonna have 3 seasons. It's gonna be really good. We got way more details in the Vanity Fair article about it's gonna be about Andor finding his way into the rebellion. So he's gonna be kind of like that Han Solo, like relentless, like rebellion hero archetype of like, I don't want to join the rebellion, and then he gets kind of pushed into it. And then there's gonna be a subplot with Mon Mothma with the Seeds of the Rebellion from what they're saying, it's going to be very, very similar to Leia, Princess of Alderaan with Mon Mothma. So it's going to be like her like scheming and plotting with the rebellion and like with the Empire overshadowing as and like under like of her being like, hey, here's the rebellion type thing.
Yeah, that's oh man, that's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. You know what I'm kind of, what I think Andor's gonna be like. I think it's gonna be like Daredevil, kind of like its own thing, but it's really really good. I'm kind of hoping Andor is Star Wars Daredevil, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and like I feel like again people are underestimating the show because I feel like a lot of people just overlooked Andor because like, oh, who cares about Cassian Andor? But like honestly, I was rewatching Rogue One for that They Fly Now episode, and like that opening scene of Cassian killing the guy for the information for the Death Star, like that's a show right there. Like, wait, how far did he go? Like, because like Cassian is like said he's done like terrible things. He's been in this fight since he was 6 years old. So like it's heavily implied that his family was a separatist. So like we could see some like flashbacks in that style. Like
I hope I want to see separatist stuff.
And also going back to Mon Mothma in the Vanity Fair article, dude, her outfit is
oh my gosh, it looks so good.
Like she finally is not just wearing a white cloak. Like for the longest time, her outfit's just been white cloak. It's like really, that's all you guys have. So like her new outfit looks amazing.
Yes, and with that, is that going to be the actor?
It's the same actress from Rogue One and the Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, yeah, that's like the Mon Mothma we want. Is
like she looks commanding and like she would like be strongly
powerful
against the Empire. Like and it's heavily
and it's not just the white drape cloak with a necklace.
And again, it's heavily rumored that Jimmy Smith's Bail Organa is also going to be in the show.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
And then also in an interview, I forget who let it slip, but we also know that Saw Gerrera is also going to be in Andor.
Oh, really? I mean, kind of. He's in everything, so
it makes sense. It also makes sense for the era that like you could have Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera pulling him to each side. So you have the extremist side of Saw Gerrera, and then you have like the traditional rebellion side of Mon Mothma, and then he's getting pulled to like both sides.
Yeah, especially if he is rebellious and doesn't really want to join it. I could see how you could fall down to the Saw Gerrera
camp
path. Yeah, the camp, which we'll see Saw Gerrera and Kenobi somehow.
Somehow Saw Gerrera will be on Tatooine, and that's why the Inquisitors are there for some reason.
Yep, he's gonna be there. If Saw Gerrera is in Kenobi, I'm leaving.
I would laugh so hard. Also, speaking of Kenobi, I feel like I'm so happy to say this. I'm laughing to myself as I'm going to say this. The flying lightsabers are going to be in Kenobi, and I'm so happy.
Oh, I know.
I am so happy.
Yeah, because oh my gosh, what's his name? Who plays the Inquisitor?
Yeah, the live action actor, because for some
He's
reason
like, yes, they're so cool.
Because for some reason he didn't watch Rebels like for preparation for the role. He just went into it blind, and then he's like, so he got told it was like, yeah, that they can like they have like jets and they can fly. So it's like, we're gonna see it.
Yeah, that's like so cool.
I remember posting on Twitter like the quote of "They fly now," and I literally put in the caption, "You don't know how long I've been waiting to put this out." Because I was gonna do in the reaction. Obviously, we're not doing a reaction, but I was gonna do in the reaction originally if we were like didn't go to Celebration. I was literally gonna point the screen and go, "They fly now."
They fly now. Yeah, I hope. I hope they don't get too much hate because their flying lightsabers are sweet. Who cares? They're cool. They're freaking awesome. But
again, like I really hope that like, because I'm really worried about Kenobi of like, I don't want like Vader overshadowing the Inquisitors. If that makes any sense. Like I don't want like, because obviously everyone's gonna talk about, oh my God, Vader, oh my God, Obi-Wan. Like I really want the Inquisitors for at least like a good first 2 episodes to be like actively the main antagonist. Like,
yes,
I do not want Vader to be like, oh, he's automatically like the main bad guy. Like, because obviously he's going to take over the operations with the Inquisitors. Like, we all know that's going to happen at some point in the show. But I feel like I really want to see who is Reva? Like what? Like she clearly
Yes,
knows
Reva.
Obi-Wan.
I think they can build on Reva very well. That's like my one hope, is that Reva gets built on, and her character is like the new character that is like, when you think of Kenobi, you think of Obi-Wan, Vader, and the new Reva, who it's very smart actually that they did not just use the same Inquisitors that we saw in Rebels, that they're adding a new one, which may mean, I mean, if you're thinking about it, she may die.
It would make sense,
because if she's not in Rebels, so she may have to die at the end of the series.
or she could hopefully get her own. Because honestly, like, I would be really interested if they ever do like a spin-off Inquisitor series about like what is the, because like I feel like with Rebels, Fallen Order, and then hopefully Kenobi, like I feel like there's enough material there to talk about.
And Vader 2017.
Invader 2017 about like,
Is it 20? Yeah, 2017.
yeah, 2017 is the one with the Grand Inquisitor. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much interesting background of like, were they like, because obviously they're called brothers and sisters, but like, do they have this family relationship? How is it like? Are they like the Jedi Order, or do they do that? Just like, obviously because Vader's there, he's encouraging them to like dip into the dark side, but he doesn't want to be too powerful. Like what is their philosophy? Like, how would that work? Because like how far does the Grand Inquisitor push them? Like I have so many questions that I'm just like, ooh, I want to see how this plays out.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even mind seeing like the Vader 2017 stuff in live action, like seeing them train and then get their limbs cut off. Like, I want to see that. I don't think we will, but I would love to see that.
And like, obviously that we're gonna have the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels and the Fifth Brother, so it's like,
Yep.
again, this is like, it's
And
a little,
the Seventh Sister.
It's a little taste before Ahsoka, because
Yeah.
like Ahsoka's gonna be really the real continuation of Rebels, but we get a little bit of a Rebels taste here.
Yeah, I like that. Of course, I love Rebels, and I love that we're seeing some Rebels characters live action. I don't think there's any chance we see any other Rebels characters in Kenobi, though.
No, I don't really think, because it wouldn't make sense for this time period. Like, it wouldn't chronologically fit.
No. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's gonna break us. I just think it's gonna break us.
Oh, it's gonna be super emotional. Like, again, people are gonna get really mad. I've said this so many times in this podcast. I've also said it on Pod Ones a lot. People are going to be so mad at this show because the first 2 episodes of Kenobi, I'll put money down on this right now. Obi-Wan's gonna be very similar to Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi. He's gonna be very downtrodden. He just got his religion shattered. He's like, and his only thing he has for him right now is meditating the Qui-Gon in Luke. Everything else is gone. His life as he knew it was gone. Like, his relationship, gone. Everything, like, he lost everything over the course of 3 years. He's gonna be in a very depressed state in this show.
Yeah, I don't know so far as to Luke, because I think he still knows his purpose, whereas I don't know if Luke really did.
But it's gonna be very, very similar.
He's gonna be very like just worn down and emotional, very emotional. I'm sure it's not gonna be the Obi-Wan we saw in Revenge of the Sith.
No, he's gonna be. I think honestly, I don't feel like he's gonna be very confident either. Like, I feel like there's a possibility that he may have cut himself off from the Force during this period of time because he feel like he didn't need it.
Yeah, he may have for a short period of time. Then maybe Qui-Gon can kind of step back in and help.
Or the Inquisitors, when they show up, he's like, "Oh, shit!
Like, oh, gotta put the game face back on for a bit because these guys are no joke." Yeah, that'll be so cool. In 2 episodes, I feel like maybe if they're releasing 2, there's probably a reason for that.
It's because of Celebration. They pushed it back 2 days because they wanted the Thursday panel first for some reason, and then they dropped.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if they're dropping 2, there's probably a reason they're dropping 2, like plot wise.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
I feel like the first episode is going to be very, very mundane. It's just going to be Obi-Wan going through his life on Tatooine. The Inquisitors are actively investigating where he is, and then they find him by the end of the first episode. Then the second episode is the Inquisitors actively hunting Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan leaves Tatooine, and then we get the reveal of Vader at the end. I feel like I have a really good idea for how the first 2 episodes are going to maybe play out.
Maybe. I think we're gonna see Owen pretty early on. I
Oh.
think we're gonna see that shot of Owen being like, just like how you trained his father. I think, I think we're gonna see that pretty early on.
Speaking of that, I really love
The
like,
memes.
yes, they're all so funny. I'm like, hey, we should go to Luminara, just like how Luminara trained Barris Offee, or like stuff
Yeah.
like that. Or
They're
we're gonna
so
take them
funny.
together. Or we're gonna take them together, just like how Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon took Maul together, just like stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's. Those are gonna be the best memes. Oh my gosh, the prequel memes that are gonna surface from Kenobi.
Oh, it's gonna
Could
be
it be
amazing.
insane? Oh, yeah, it's a great time. Great
But
time to be Star Wars fan. Which I still haven't finished Brotherhood.
you got it. It's so good.
I know. I've just been so busy recently that I haven't really. I don't think I'm gonna bring out a plane tomorrow because I'm gonna be pretty tired.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Trying to think of anything else during the panel. Obviously, we got. I feel like we're definitely gonna get stuff on the Acolyte and Ahsoka, and then I forget what the project's called, but the code name for the project is the John Watts Project. I don't know if you heard about this. It's going to be a young lead show set after Return of the Jedi.
Yes. With there's like the need for like 6 teenage.
Yeah. It's like
leads.
I forget what the project's called, but he said it's going to be very E.T. inspired, Goonies, like young kids, but post the original trilogy.
Yes, I heard about this. I saw it on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know how confirmed that is though.
They said it during the Vanity Fair article. They didn't say anything about the show. They just said the project, and John Watts and Jon Favreau are attached.
Okay. Yeah, and John Watts is who directed Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, the Homecoming trilogy.
No, wait, Homecoming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean that should be pretty good. I'm sure. Maybe some news about that. Like what? Would they be Jedi? Ooh, if they were Jedi at Luke's Academy.
That would be interesting. And then you have, like, I don't know how they would do that. Actually, that could be interesting. I was originally thinking, like, children of the New Republic Rebellion, and then we follow them as they get older, and then when they become adults, we transition into how the First Order kidnapped the children. So, like, I thought that's what instantly my mind went to, of, like...
That could be good, too.
Like the children of, like, the rebel leaders, like Lando's kid and a couple others, and then, like, we follow them as they grow into adults, and then they get captured by the First Order.
Is it bad that I want to see these kids have a tragic ending?
I mean, because it is, we all know where the story is going. We're just like, okay, how are they gonna weave it in? How are they gonna weave it in?
Like, I wouldn't mind seeing like young Jedi or young pilots or just get completely killed or crapped on.
Because again,
maybe not killed.
I feel
That's
like they wouldn't mention it in the Vanity Fair article if they weren't gonna. I feel like they have to show something. I feel like they're gonna say like, this is what the show's about, this is the plot, and we're casting it out. Probably something like very brief, like snip snap, like we're done out. Honestly, I feel like out of all the shows, it's probably gonna get the most attention. I feel like it's gonna be Andor, and then
Andor. I think is gonna be a large portion of it.
Andor is gonna be like probably like 30 minutes of the panel because it's a 90-minute panel. Maybe get a little bit snippet of Mandalorian. I feel like it's not as much because there's literally a whole Mandalorian panel like 2 days later. So it's like they're not gonna show everything. I think they'll just like briefly talk about it and then move on. I feel like the other bulk of the panel is gonna be Acolyte and Ahsoka news.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Because
that's my hopes and dreams.
Going into Acolyte, because I know we have a lot of thoughts about Ahsoka. Going into Acolyte, dude, the fact that it's taking place 100 years.
100 years, that's so exciting. Because that means, High Republic right now, we're how long? 250?
No, we're 198 is the last I checked with Fallen Star.
It's Fallen Star.
So 98 years
later. Could see maybe some people.
Because
they'd be old, but maybe.
The like large bulk of speculation about the show is, so 100 years. Again, people are taking Legends information for canon, but like they're kind of speculating with it. That would be
Tenebrous' master.
It would be Tenebrous era. So like they could change Tenebrous from male to female because we know it's a female lead.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind that. Like Plagueis' master,
and then we follow.
And then maybe it's a Plagueis, and then maybe Plagueis is in it too.
And that I wouldn't say season 1. So I'd say season 1 would be all about probably Tenebrous. season 2 maybe be about Tenebris taking on Plagueis, and then the show ends with Plagueis taking over, and then it's a backdoor pilot for a Plagueis show, and then that's how you become Palpatine.
Yeah, because this story should get canon somehow. I mean, obviously, this can't get canon.
There's a lot of details that wouldn't line.
Yes. Because what's the big one? There's something really big. Oh, that Tenebris is alive, or Plagueis is alive during
the Phantom Menace. Yes, because the Master and Apprentice, it's heavily implied that he's dead.
Yeah.
And then Matt Martin confirmed on Twitter that, yes, he is dead way before Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so that doesn't align.
Also because we know that era because of the Maul 2017 comics, because there's the run where Maul is hunting down Jedi with Cad Bane and Jango Fett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we see a lot of Palpatine Maul scenes. And
Plagueis so we're not, I mean, that book isn't going to be, but
they could take
you could get some very similar, I mean, I think that would be really cool. Maybe Plagueis' master. Because, I mean, we don't have to make Tenebris canon. He's kind of minor. Like, we don't really
canon
need...
by name because of the Rise of Skywalker.
That's right.
Because it was Revan, Tenebris, and a couple others. So he's canon only by name, so they could always just change stuff about him. And they could make him female, and then they could do, like, all they really want with him.
People would probably have a fit.
But, like...
If they made Tenebris female. I would be fine with it.
I would be fine with it because, people... like, who really cares about Tenebris? Honestly, like he's just... I see him as more open slate.
Yeah. Yeah, that could definitely be cool. Or Tenebris' master. Because 100 years...
It's a large period of time.
You almost need Tenebris' master.
Yeah.
I think that's what would make the most sense. Would be Tenebris' master, then Tenebris, then Plagueis, then Palpatine in 100 years. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Especially because they're always killing each other, too.
Oh, for sure.
They're always killing each other. So, like, they're not going to each last a whole 80 years of life. They're going to last 50 years. Then their Padawan's going to grow up and kill them.
Which, I'm also curious, because, again, they did confirm that with the show, we are getting the High Republic Jedi look from the books and comics with the white and gold cloaks. So, I was really worried that they're going to be in their prequel, like, aesthetic. Because, like, it's too close to Phantom. No, they're in the High Republic looks.
Maybe we'll see a Jedi Vector. That'd be so cool.
Or like Nile, like remnants of like their masks, or like their clans and stuff.
Yeah, or like even if they mention it, Nile would be so cool.
We get like a Mark Hamill name drop or something.
Yeah, or we get well, isn't there supposed to be a High Republic series?
No, that we all thought it was the John Watts series, but that obviously got pushed into post Return of the Jedi. Okay. So everyone was wrong on that assumption because...
I mean, and we're getting Eclipse. Let's not forget about Eclipse.
I hate getting negative on the show, but I've never had hype for something just drop off a cliff.
It was like... It was almost, I feel like they dropped it in a time where Star Wars was irrelevant a little bit, and they're like, hey, here's
Eclipse,
and then it's like, oh my gosh, so cool.
And then all this controversy came out.
And I was like, oh, no more Eclipse. No, I think it's still happening. I'm sure they're not just going to get...
It's not going to come out till 2027.
Yeah, so that's...
They revealed it too early. Everyone was like, the studio behind it sucks. The CEO behind the studio sucks. And then all these big channels and coverages said, we're not covering the game. So it's like, again, I've never had so much hype for something. Boom. Just
boom.
It's like it fell.
It literally just crashed and burned. It's like, okay, I guess not.
It's like,
I don't know.
And again, like, we know what type of game archetype it was going to be. It was going to be very, very Detroit Become Human. So it's going to be a choose your own adventure style game. So it was like, so that scope was going to be super limited. And then the writers for High Republic, someone went into their live and asked them, hey, are you guys affiliated with this? And they said, we're absolutely not affiliated with it. We didn't want to. So we're like, everyone's like, whoa. Like, the people that are writing this era don't even want to be involved. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, because that group seems very tight-knit.
Yeah. Also, speaking of that group, So on Star Wars Celebration's website, going back to Celebration again, I'm gonna tie this back.
Mhm.
Charles
Yeah,
Soule,
maybe we could just start Celebration and then probably close it out
yeah. So
a little bit.
yeah, so on Charles Soule's like little description media of like what he's gonna do, it said creative like media like consultant or something like that. It was like all the books, and then it was like screenwriter consultant. So I feel like he's involved with Acolyte. I feel like because if all the writers,
Oh,
Soul would make the most amount of sense because of his connection
because
with Vader and
Yes.
started the era, so it makes sense he would end the
yeah.
era. So it makes sense they would pull him in and be like, so since you started the era and you're involved with everything, what can we do to like make it fit your vision of the books?
That's smart. That's actually really smart.
Because the other writers aren't involved, but I feel like Charles Soule is like probably like as much as
Because
John
he
with
will-
Rebels, I would say.
Yeah, because Light of the Jedi is the most wide-scale High Republic novel, so if you're going to want someone to help you with that time, because I know we've said this many times, but like Light of the Jedi's here,
Mhm.
right? Rising Storm is like here, and then Fallen Star is like a very tight-knit story. So to have the person who made the most wide story, the most diverse story, and the story that had the most world building, to help you write a show in that era would make the most sense for sure.
And not only would it make the most amount of sense, it would also make sense because, like I said, his connection to the Sith with the Vader comics. Like,
Yes.
he knows the Sith inside and out. So it makes sense for a High Republic Sith show, you'd want the person who would have the most amount of experience with the Sith.
Yep. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. What other panels do we have besides the live action one? Bad Batch one, we talked a little bit about. What's the other big ones?
We have the Mando Plus panel, which is where they're talking about season 1 and 2, because if you think about it, they didn't really get a panel. They had a 2019 panel before the show came out.
No.
And then the pandemic hit, and they haven't done a convention since. So this is the first time since the show blew up that they're actually get to talk about it.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. And hearing them talk about like the success they're having, and I'm sure they didn't expect it to be this successful. So to see that's gonna be very interesting. Because again, it's never happened before.
We know that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to be hosting it.
Oh, they're gonna be there. That's gonna be so cool. This is gonna be so cool. Why are they doing meet and greets?
No. There's only
No.
I feel like what's happening is Filoni's doing Ahsoka, so he's only doing a couple panels and then going back and filming stuff.
Yeah, that would make sense. Give us a little taste.
Because if people are asking like why isn't Hayden Christensen doing photo ops, it's because he's filming Ahsoka.
Yeah.
He's busy
Okay.
in LA doing stuff.
Yeah, it's just the Ewan McGregor, man. That's insane. He must be in it. Vader must be in Ahsoka a lot if he's like can't go to Celebration for a few days.
Yeah, because we're getting Force Ghost Anakin. He's gonna be. I feel like he's gonna be a larger role than we think he was gonna be. Because I feel like Sabine is gonna be very much our Rebels tie, and obviously Ezra and Thrawn as well. But Force Ghost Anakin's gonna be our Clone Wars tie.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you kind of want to have a piece of every era. So you may have Luke in there as like the fourth piece, or Din, to like tie all the eras.
Yeah, I think with Ahsoka, because it's Ahsoka and because she's a solely show character, that they can just kind of say, well, if you need to watch Clone Wars and Rebels, and like those are kind of requirements, so you should.
I don't know. I would say Rebels, maybe. Clone Wars, not so much. I feel like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett have done a really good job of.
That's true. They've done a great job
to like all these Clone Wars and Rebels elements. And Kenobi, obviously, the same thing, because with the Inquisitors, we obviously have to wait until those come out. But I feel like they're going to do an amazing job introducing the Inquisitors to the more live-action casual fans. But I feel like, I don't know, with Ahsoka, I feel like they're going to do a good job, but I also feel like it's slightly different because like with Mandalorian, you had Din Djarin, it was new for everybody. Book of Boba Fett, you had that if you just watch the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, you would be okay. I
Mhm.
feel like Ahsoka, like you'll be lost a bit more.
Yes, for sure. So, yeah. So I also think because they know that, I think that also means that the plot will be more heavily focused. Like the plot besides Ahsoka will be more heavily focused on other things that are in the other shows.
I'm trying to think of because we have Mando, Ahsoka, the Mando plus Mando. We talked about Ahsoka for a bit. Bad Batch season 2. I feel like we talked about not too much because we talked about like
Yeah.
we talked about like how we're excited for it, but like,
Uh.
well, do we have any like big predictions? Because like I feel like because like they set up the cloning with Kamino. We know Crosshair is going back to the Empire, and then the Bad Batch are going to be on the run. I feel like there may be a bit of a time skip between the first and second season.
Yeah, I would like to see Omega get a bit more developed. I would still like to see the Omega Boba Fett interaction. I would like to see Cody.
I want honestly. I have the unpopular opinion of I do not want to see Cody at all in Kenobi. I feel like
In Kenobi, no.
No.
I hope he dies in Bad Batch season 2.
because like I don't know where this obsession with Cody began. Like of him being in Kenobi, because honestly, I've never really
In Kenobi, no.
I've never really thought that like Cody and Obi-Wan have this big relationship. It's very
I mean,
professional.
they do, but it's not this. It's not like the same emotional connection that like Ahsoka and Rex have,
Or Anakin and Rex, for that matter. I
and
feel like
Anakin and Rex. Yeah,
I feel
it's
like-
not the same.
Cody has a bigger connection to Rex than anybody. I feel like even more than Obi-Wan. Just like
Yeah. Which is why Bad Batch I think would be the best.
because if you look at the Bad Batch arc in season 7, that really emotional scene of Rex looking at the graduation, like of like all of them, and like he's thinking about Echo, and like because he's suspecting that like that's what's happening, and like Cody and like Rex like confide in each other, like Cody and Rex have this big friendship that's built over 7 seasons of a TV show. I feel like it needs to end in animation. I feel like with Cody.
Agreed. I agree, and I think maybe a reveal for that. No, they wouldn't reveal that in the Bad Batch panel.
But I don't know. I don't think it'll be a season 2 thing. But I feel like ever since Crosshair was in the Empire, I feel like we're all waiting for the reveal that he's gonna be the prototype for the Death Troopers. I feel like it's gonna happen. I'm just kind of waiting for it to get built to it.
That would be cool.
Because it logically makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, that would be cool, and I also would like the Empire to screw over Crosshair. I hope that what happens is maybe they use him for the model or whatever for the Dark Troopers, and then they say, "Oh, we're done with you. Goodbye." And then he's like, "Wait, what?"
Crosshair is on. I wish they would establish it more in the season finale, but Crosshair is on very loose like footing with the Empire because like if you think about it, he's going back to the Empire, and he's gonna lie and be like, "Okay, I killed the Bad Batch. The problem is dealt with." And then they're gonna pop up again, and the Empire's gonna be like, "Wait a minute, didn't you kill them? What's going on?" Like, there's gonna be like tension between. I forget the admiral's name. Why am I forgetting his name? The guy that like introduced the chain codes and that kind of stuff. Like he was in the season finale. Like him and Cross are gonna be like with tension with each other.
Yes. I hope so. I also hope we get maybe contingency. I think that might be a stretch. Contingency plan, like.
Oh yeah, we'll get more Palpatine seedings.
I mean, like the ending scene to season 1, people like overlook. Like that's huge.
Like
I want to see more of that. I think they did that on purpose because that's like a kind of people like overlook like that's like a cliffhanger. Like whoa, wait, calm down, hold up real quick. This has something to do with Palpatine's contingency plan.
Like,
but then it just leaves it there, and you're like, wait, what? So maybe Bad Batch would be a good outlet to do that.
Like, the Empire has a cloning facility that are separate from the Kaminoans, and they have very similar like showing to like the Mandalorian with what we're surrounding Grogu. I wonder where that could lead.
And people, oh gosh, don't get me started on people, man. I can't. It's like, oh, that wasn't planned, bro. Are you watching anything?
But also, this kind of goes back to Bad Batch hate in general. Like, I feel like this just kind of ties back to that of like, I feel like a lot of fans overlook Bad Batch because like, oh, the
Agreed.
finale was disappointing, or oh, there
It
were
was a good show.
filler episodes in there, or like this happens with every Star Wars animated show. Everyone gets really hyped. Oh my god, we're having an animated Star Wars show. First season comes out, everyone gets disappointed, and then everyone's like, oh, this sucks, blah, we're gonna pass it off. And then the second season comes out, and everyone's like, oh my god, that's incredible.
Oh my
You know,
god.
third season,
Yep.
oh, it's even better. Fourth season, oh my god. Oh, the first season wasn't even that bad. Like, this is like a cycle that happens
Yep.
every single Star Wars show. It happened with Clone Wars, happened with Rebels, didn't happen with Resistance because Disney basically put on Disney XD and put on Sunrow. And then Bad Batch has happened again. Like, this has happened with every show. Be patient.
Yeah. Agreed. People aren't patient enough, and I'm afraid that's what's gonna happen with Kenobi, but I don't think it will.
Oh, and also, I forgot about this. Speaking of animated project, how did I forget about this? So, I won't be able to attend the panel because I think either the Tamora Morrison or Ewan McGregor photo op overlaps it.
Okay.
Or we are getting an announcement for a new Star Wars animated project. It's going to be Tales of the Jedi, which is going to be an anthology series, like, of every episode taking place with a different Jedi. It's a different.
Oh, that's really cool. That'd be really cool, actually.
And we know Matt Lanter's Anakin's going to be in the show because he confirmed that he was back on Lucasfilm recording stuff.
Oh, nice.
So
I
we're
love
gonna get
that.
some-
I also love the three of them. Matt Lanter, Ashley Eckstein, and
James Earl Taylor.
James Earl Taylor. I'm really tired. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I feel like
thinking about it, yeah.
maybe that's how we get some of the unfinished arcs in Clone Wars of like the episodes that were made in books and comics. Some of them that were just unfinished reels, like the episode where they go to Utapau and are investigating the Death Star plan, stuff like that. We may get like little stories here or there. We also this is how we get High Republic content of like animated High Republic.
Some animated High Republic
we
content.
get like an Elzar Mann episode or an Avar Chris episode, like of just like
Ooh.
little one-offs of just like, and then they just leave it there. And then like if people want to go more about them, go to the books.
Go read, yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's gonna be so cool. I mean, there's gonna be so much big stuff that's gonna be dropped this week. It's gonna be crazy. I know personally, I think I might do a little bit of vlogs. So tomorrow morning I might
I don't know.
get up and start recording some like 60-minute vlogs
Content
or 60-second vlogs.
I'm not gonna do anything because I feel like there's gonna be so much coverage on it, and I don't feel like I have a big of enough outlet. Like even Star Wars Explain was talking about today, like how he's like, I'm not gonna do that much content on it because there's gonna be so many people covering it. There's literally no reason not to. He says if you're I think he said if you're really passionate about something, if you're a content creator, you're really passionate about it, do it, but don't force yourself to make content about stuff.
That's true. That's a really good point. I still think I'm gonna want to TikToks with you guys.
Like I'm
Even
not
if
gonna.
they're just stupid. I want to make in-person TikToks. Like I think that'll be funny.
I'm not gonna. I feel like we're at a convention. It's just gonna naturally come out. Like I'm not gonna try to force and be like, we're gonna make videos. I'm just gonna be like, if it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. I'm not gonna be trying to be like, oh, I need to make content because if I get in that mindset, I'm just gonna stress myself out. I'm here to.
You're not gonna have a good time.
I'm here to enjoy myself on vacation.
Yeah, for sure, and hang out and see everyone. But yeah, that might be a good place to end.
Yeah.
I love the episode. So I got a flight, which is nothing. I have to get to bed because I have a flight at 7 a.m. I have to get up at 4, so that's not fun.
I have a flight at 2 o'clock.
So, in the morning?
No, in the afternoon. I got a afternoon flight. And
Okay, so you're gonna. So
it's only like a 3-hour flight, so I'll be there in like.
At 5. I'm getting there at 1.
Yeah, so I'll be there like by 5.
Okay, cool. Nice. So 24 hours, and I will be dapping you up, bringing it in for the bro hug.
Yep. And
less than a day.
And again, I know this episode's on the shorter side, but that does cover it for They Fly Now. And again, I know this episode's gonna probably age horribly because we're all gonna be like, "Oh, this is gonna happen," and then none of this happens.
Nothing happens.
None of this happens. So
or it's gonna age like fine wine, and it's all gonna happen.
Again, we never know. And
never know.
You'll probably be here for the chaos afterwards. So
chaos rising. The chaos is rising.
The chaos is rising for the greater good to prevent the lesser evil.
Yep.
All right. May the force be with you.
Celebration. Always.